Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this Wednesday's MBE Movie News. I am John from MBE. Who would have funked it? Here on my lonesome. Sadly, Howard, I'm on my own. I seen you said lads. No lads here, just lad. Singular. Sadly, I'm on my own. Lord help us. And look, if you've clicked on this video, you'll know why I'm here. Why I'm going to be primarily discussing Tenet yet again. No, it's not because it released in theatres today in the United Kingdom and in a lot of other territories internationally. Because, of course, if you are staying in the United States, then international encompasses every single country which is not in the United States of America. Now, but no, I'm not speaking because of that, but it is interconnected in one strange way or another, because, of course, this is the movie which has been getting trumpeted as a potential saviour of the cinema-going experience. Christopher Nolan has been absolutely adamant that this movie should be going to theatres. It is not going to a streaming service. This will not pop up on HBO Max for at least a couple of years. He wants it in the theatres. He wants to save the likes of AMC. He wants to save Cinemark, Cineworld, View, over here, Odeon. And he has got his way because, of course, they delayed the movie twice. It was initially supposed to come out in July. It got delayed, then it got delayed again, and now it's a staggered release. It's not coming out in the States until the 3rd of September. It's out here today, as I did say. But look, I'm pondering this question. Should people go to the theatres to watch Tenet? And the reason that I'm asking this question is because one certain Scott Derrickson of Doctor Strange fame has been chiming in with his opinion on this question, and he has been suggesting that people shouldn't go to theatres, and I'll pop it up so I can read the man's words for himself. Well, his words, I'll read them. Don't go to see Tenet or any other movie in a theatre. There, I said it. Would you say it though, if it was your own movie, Scott? I doubt you would. I doubt you would. Something tells me you'd have a very, very different opinion on these matters. But look, the reason he's saying it is he's sort of directing it at the United States primarily. I think he sort of followed up and addressed the tweet by saying this is for fellow Americans, where of course the COVID pandemic is still very much a big issue. It's a big issue everywhere, but they have higher infection rates than most other countries, certainly here and in a lot of countries in Europe. So this is something which is obviously of real importance over there, that people keep safe, they don't continue to infect people, get the numbers down, and then we can get back to a degree of normality stateside quicker or sooner rather than later. So I can understand what he's saying, but at the same time I pondered this question because I have quite clearly a very different opinion to this. I share the opinion of Howard in the chat. I believe that these movies like this, and I include the New Mutants in that conversation as well. Incidentally, Josh Boone came out and spoke about it, and he shares my sentiments. I believe that movies like this are designed for theatres, that would be blasphemous for it not to be seen on the biggest screen imaginable, that being IMAX, if possible. And to put it on a streaming service, as I says, it'd be blasphemous. And if you do it correctly in the theatre chains, you put in the right protocols, the right social distancing measures, mask wearing, don't allow people to congregate illegally and stuff like that, and maybe take masks off during screenings. If you do it correctly, then all will be well. But the reason I've been pondering this question as well today is because I did see a video of Tom Cruise. He was in London, I presume shooting parts of Mission Impossible 7, which is going to be part of a later topic on this show, incidentally. And the man, look, he even looks good with a mask on. Is there anything this guy isn't good at? He's got great hair, he's in his late 50s, he's wearing a mask and he still looks good. But he popped along to see Tenet. I'm not going to click on the video. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it was an incredibly crowded screening that the man jumped in to see. Now, I understand this is an incredibly popular movie. It's an event movie. No one doesn't bring out movies that often. People are going to go and rush and see it as soon as possible, even in the midst of a pandemic. That is the draw of the man. That's why I believe this movie will hit the $300 million required to break even and more. But it was incredibly crowded, this screening. No social distancing, or next to no social distancing. Sporadic mask wearing. And that does concern me. If I was to go to a theatre with a loved one or something like that who is potentially at risk of catching this disease and maybe having real issues for them, that would put me off. Walking into a theatre before the showing and seeing the whole theatre full to the gunnel, hundreds of people sitting right next to each other. I wouldn't want that. I think to do it correctly, you have to keep at least 2 free seats free, half, maybe 30% attendance rates. There's not a lot of movies out just now that could show in every single screening available, every hall, and make money out of this movie. So I do not want to see that. That's one thing I would put in as a little caveat. I'm firmly for this movie going into theatres. I believe people should have the chance to go and watch it, save their cinemas. Just enjoy the cinema going experience. It's all about escapism. It's about getting whisked off to another world, forgetting about your troubles. We need that more so than ever in today's society with what's going on, thousands of people falling ill and dying and whatnot. It's dark times. People need it for their mental health. And it can't be any worse than going to a gym or going to a restaurant or something. And most of them are open now, guys. So I do believe that it should go to theatres. I do believe it is going to theatres. I believe people should go and watch it in the theatres though. But another reason, I mean, there's a whole variety of reasons why I was touching on this, but look, we've got this interconnected too. And I'm seeing the likes of Collider too. They're speaking in a big long article about how their policies on reviewing theatrical features during pandemics is slightly different to what it would initially be in a normal time when we don't have this killer virus wiping people out. And you're seeing critics saying that, look, social distancing is not there. It's not safe, the screening options. Even for them, professionals, they are having to go to crowded theatres and watch these movies for reviewing purposes. And it's just not on. They're not wanting to review it. We've got the likes of Brian Talerco. I can't even read this, so I'm going to have to see if I've actually read that name correctly. But we've got some critics coming out and essentially saying that, look, it's not on. I think it's AV Club. We're not going to review these. We're sort of protesting against the big studios, if you like, because they are putting our lives at risk. And we have some backlash of people saying, well, look, we don't need yous anyway. Yous are mostly liberal-minded. We don't care about your opinion. We can watch a movie and form it on our own. But I think the crux of the matter is keeping the cinema-going experience as safe as possible for regular people and obviously your critics as well when going to watch big blockbuster movies like this. That is absolutely paramount. I want to see people going to theatres and seeing this movie on the biggest screen, but at the same time, they have to keep the safety there. The theatres can't get lazy, man. I know they've been running on fumes for the last 6 months, but they really have to introduce a safe way of consuming these movies, man, or it's just going to get back to the way it was and we'll have them shutting down completely. I won't risk my life or health to see it, but I'm super excited about Tenet. I'm not seeing enough done at my local cinema. That's the issue. That really is the issue. You're seeing these big theatre companies just try to draw in as much money as possible because they've obviously had to reduce their staff amounts or the amount of people working at their individual chains. They've lost billions of dollars, these companies, and I can understand why they're trying to get as much bodies in as possible, but safety is absolutely paramount during these times, and as I just says, if you don't do it right, and then it's going to shut down, and we're not going to get to see movies for a long time. So I want to go and see it. I probably will go and see it. I have had coronavirus about 3 months ago. I hope that immunity is still keeping up, ticking along, and I'll be safe if I go and see it. But look, not everyone's like me. Most people haven't had coronavirus, and therefore it's a very dangerous thing to nip into your local theatre and watch a movie if you've not had it, even with a mask. But look, guys, thought I'd touch upon it. Not a lot of movie news out today, incidentally. I will get into some other topics which are interesting, but Tenet coming out in the theatres today, it's the big event. I can't wait to see the movie, incidentally. I think it's going to be fantastic. I love Christopher Nolan. He's such a good director. He's never made a bad movie, in my book. Some people say they're soulless, that they don't really enjoy, they don't connect to his movies for one reason or another. I've never had that. I've had all the range of human emotions, the whole lexicon, if you like, and I cannot wait to see John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, the whole gang performing in this movie. I've been watching all the sort of critic press screeners and stuff like that. But look, guys, I'm going to move on to the next topic. It's all about Dune. This is going to be very short, and the reason I'm slipping this in is because it has a thread of connection to Tenet, with Tenet now coming out in the theatres in some parts of North America. I believe it is out in Canada, with it now out in theatres widespread in Europe and in the United Kingdom. We are seeing it being accompanied with another big Warner Brothers release, of course, Denis Villeneuve's Dune movie. The first teaser trailer has dropped in the theatres, but we have now got a date as well for the sort of wide release online for this teaser trailer, we actually spoke about this maybe 3 weeks ago or something, and it was rumoured that it would, probably 4 weeks ago, that it was coming out this month. Didn't seem to materialise. Perhaps they realised the array of stuff that was coming out in DC Fandome, and maybe were concerned it would fly under the radar. I don't think that's ever going to happen with Denis Villeneuve and with Timothée Chalamet and Oscar Isaac. And Dune is just a premise. It's exciting people, but perhaps that's what they thought. By all accounts, now delaying it to September 9th, I believe, is when it's going to be posted online. Wednesday, September 9th. But it is out in theatres accompanying Tenet right now. And look, just like Tenet, super excited for this movie. Really, really excited to see what Denis has brought with this movie. Has he done a better job than, I want to say it was David Ayer who directed either a movie or a TV show based on the Dune novels back in the early 2000s. Has he done a better job? He certainly has previous for working with these sort of sci-fi genres. Blade Runner 2049. He's done Arrival, which I really enjoyed. That was a sort of Marmite movie. Bit like Nolan. Really cerebral in storytelling. Ambiguous ending. Really enjoyed it. I love everything the guy does. Super, super excited for Dune. Really cannot wait to see the first footage of this movie. Just to see Timothée Chalamet. I'm trying to remember the name of his character. Is it Paul Atreides? I read the book very briefly. Not a good reading experience, me personally, and I had to move away from it. Hoping the movie is going to be a whole lot better. 1 minute 27 seconds or something, this teaser. 1:37 seconds it's going to be, this teaser. Can they eclipse the Batman for how much they can fit into a 1 minute 37 second long teaser trailer? How much character sort of studying are we going to get? How much locations are they? Well, I mean, it's set in one planet, I believe, a desert planet, so initially they're on some other planet, but desert planet, so they're not going to multiple locations. But look, as I said, short and sweet, little interconnected topic. Really, really excited to see what Denis has brought with this. This Tenet release is going to pave the way for movies later on in the year as well, which are set to come out. It's going to be really the sort of canary going down the mine, if you like, for these other movies. If this hits off and he makes ridiculous money, we regain confidence as an audience and going back to the theatres. If the chains can prove that they are doing it right, socially distancing and whatnot, then it will pave the way for the likes of Dune to come out safely later on in the year. And we'll start with that, with the obvious promotional push and whatnot. But look, guys, I touched on Tom Cruise over here in London. I'm saying over here, I'm in Scotland, down in London, filming perhaps shots for Mission Impossible 7. And here's another little topic touching upon Tom, and he's just wondrous sort of stunts that he pulls off in this just ever improving franchise for me. I mean, I've loved Mission Impossible since, I think it was 95, the first one. Ving Rhames and all of the OG gang back then. I've really enjoyed the way that they've just seemed to eclipse the stunts, just the spectacle of the movies in general over the years. JJ sort of rebooted it. And in recent years, Christopher McQuarrie has really done a stupendous job just interconnecting these sort of ongoing villains, like of Sean Harris and whatnot. We had Henry Cavill and in Fallout. And now he's shooting back-to-back. He's also shooting 7 and 8 back-to-back. And we have Tom Cruise doing yet another insane motorcycle stunt. This guy's hanged off of planes. He's flew helicopters. Incidentally, he can fly a helicopter. I watched him doing a loop-the-loop after coming out of an F1 car. Nothing this guy can't do. But look, man, I digress. I'll bring up the little article. It's coming from Movie Web. As you can see, there is the man himself, clad in leather, looking cool as hell. The coolest late 50s guy on the planet. It was Duchovny. He hit his 60s. Now it's Tom Cruise. Look at the man. I mean, just look what he is doing. It's just insanity what this guy is doing on these movies. He shattered his ankle on Mission Impossible Fallout, jumping from one rooftop to another. He continued on with the scene, recuperated, came back. He does all his own stunts, well, most of them. And this has got to be the most outlandish one yet since the plane one, where he was strapped onto the side of the plane that took off. Jumping off of a motorbike about 300 feet up in the air, off a ramp. Look, man, I know a lot of people have their issues. They have their bones to pick with Tom Cruise. The Scientology thing and just his strange demeanour. The way he was treating, was it Katie Holmes I think he was married to? And he's a strange guy at times, but look, you cannot do down what this guy brings to movies. He's a bona fide star. He has been a bona fide star for 30 odd years now. And I've got enormous respect for what he brings to the action genre. I've got enormous respect for the fact that this guy is pushing 60 and he's still doing stunts like this. It would be so much easier to just hand it over to the stuntman and be done with it. And you've got to respect it, man. 500 feet up it was. 500 feet up in the air. He's jumping off of motorbikes. I can't wait for this movie as well. Look, you're going to think I'm a sycophant here. I sit and I just say, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. That's because I only talk about movies I'm actually looking forward to. I don't speak about the shite movies. I only speak about the ones that whet the anticipatory juices. And as I look for the aforementioned reasons, man, Christopher McQuarrie's done a great job. Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, all of the people involved. How is he going to interconnect this? Is it going to be these same sort of covert, underground, terrorist sort of evangelical, whatever the hell they were? They wanted to blow up different holy cities and whatnot. Is it going to be the same villains? Or will we see a new sort of villainry come out of the shadows and for obviously Ethan and the gang to take on? I don't know, man. I'm really excited for it though, and this just wets the juices ever more. Seeing Tom on a motorbike, who can forget Fallout when he's zipping through Paris on that motorbike? Absolutely unbelievable. Seeing that sequence. I loved that movie. It was my favourite action movie from a couple of years back, and I'm sure, I am absolutely positive 7 will be my favourite movie. Whenever it's coming out, I'm not actually sure when it hits. Zipping all over the globe again, guys. But look, I'm going to move on. Short and sweet. I'm battering through these topics here. This one's all about Barry Keoghan. It's, in a sense, a sort of superficial topic about Barry Keoghan, but it's a sort of greater interconnected topic about the Batman in general, because I'm going to get into Zack Synder as well, who has been speaking about the Batman. He's been speaking about the teaser. I'm seeing some comments coming in. I do apologise. Off to my left, the sort of studio, I can't see what's going on here. I don't know if he's just having a great sort of little interconnected conversation in the chat and just nothing to do with me whatsoever. But wait, it doesn't. Yeah, I think yeah, Scientology. Yeah, it confuses me too. I don't want to go down that route. I think Travolta's involved in it as well. There's quite a few of the weirdos in Hollywood involved in the whole Scientology thing. It's an absolute pie in the sky. Look, I'm not a religious person in general, not in the traditional sense, Christianity and any of the other ones. So I'm certainly not going to buy into some hocus pocus bullshit written by some fantasist about intergalactic beings and things like that. I'm not going down that route. It's a load of absolute shite. They pay ridiculous money to sort of move up these tiers within the hierarchy of Scientology. It's an elaborate pyramid con scheme to take money off of rich people. You know what they say? That a fool and his money are easily parted. I'm not saying Tom's a fool. He's got a lot of money though, and they did get him a wife, so look, it's all good. But look, I digress. I went off on a tangent about Scientology. I went off on a tangent about Tom Cruise. Let's bring it back to Barry Keoghan. I love this guy. I really do. Dunkirk, fantastic in it. Pretty sure he was in Dunkirk. I hope it's the same guy. He's got one of those faces. He's almost like a Jesse Plemons. He pops up in just about every movie going. Never seems to have a meaty role. He's sort of like at the side of things, but he's an enormously talented actor. Will Poulter's another one, but he gets sort of main roles in movies from time to time. But he's joined the Batman. Apparently, that made a splash. I don't know if they're talking about the movie itself, but yeah, it got announced. It got buried in the press release for the movie at the DC Fandome event, and he's been announced as part of the cast. He's going to be playing Officer Stanley Merkel, who was Jim Gordon's first partner in the DC universe. So hopefully this is going to be a very sizable role. They are suggesting it could be a flashback or some other iteration of the character who's perhaps not connected to Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon. Either way, I'm excited, man. Every single casting choice that they have made for this movie has been perfect. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth. Paul Dano as the Riddler. Zoe Kravitz as a young, energetic Catwoman. Robert Pattinson as a kind of young, mid-30s. I'm going to say that's young. As a 31-year-old, I'm still clutching onto my youth eternal. I'm going to say mid-30s is young. Bruce Wayne. And he's going to bring some energy to it as well. We've seen it with that trailer, punching the living shit out of people and whatnot. It looks fantastic. And then obviously you have, there's another guy who I can never get this Scandinavian guy's name, but he's in there as well. And we've now got Barry Keoghan as well. So they have hit the ball out of the park with the casting across the board. Absolutely brilliant. Major roles, minor roles. Falcone's played by a decent actor as well, if I recall correctly. My dog's raping the chair underneath me. I do apologise. And I'm really excited to see what role this guy is going to have. Is he going to have a sizable role? Will it be a flashback, another sort of Plemons-esque minor role in a potential award-winning movie where he just gets lost in the sea of amazing performances? I don't know, man, but look, he's popping up in a whole array of other movies. He's playing Droog in another movie as well, apparently. He's in The Eternals. Jesus Christ. I didn't even know he was in The Eternals. Barry Keoghan's in The Eternals as well. He's the sort of, I told you, he's the English sort of Jesse Plemons. He is English, isn't he? Jesse Plemons. I'll need to search it up. He may be Irish. But look, I digress, man. I'm going to move on to the Zack Synder sort of interconnected part of this topic. I'll try and get the article up so I can read it. I am as blind as a bat, guys. Do bear with me. I'm trying to find it. There we go. Zack Synder. That one's coming in from Cinema Blend. He's been sharing his thoughts about that truly, truly brilliant teaser for the Batman, which dropped. Of course, we reacted to it. We've got about nearly 20,000 views. And we've got some brilliant comments as well. I particularly enjoyed the one, which I think Stephen maybe deleted, that says that these two guys know nothing. From a name, a guy called Hollywood. I know nothing, apparently. Oh dear, I've been watching Batman movies probably before he was born, but I know nothing. But look, I love that. I love these comments you get on these reaction videos. But look, he's been speaking. He's been speaking a lot, as you can see. I don't know what the rating is going to be, but I felt the same way about the Batman beating that guy. I was like, what the? I actually just texted Matt after, and I was like, what the F? I'm not going to swear. This is a sort of PG-friendly channel, but not for kids. We don't want more money taken off us if we earn any. I loved it. I thought it was so cool. I thought it was like the right direction and everything about it. As far as just a fan of the movie, it's the kind of movie I want to see. I felt like 2 thumbs up. I'm sure there was another quote in there from Zack, but perhaps not. But yeah, he loved it, and I'm glad to see that Zack has shown some fraternity with a like-minded director. He's obviously directed Ben Affleck's Batman, and I don't think we get enough of him, and I'm glad he's coming back in Flashpoint. And it's nice to see he's not so butthurt over the way that he parted with Warner Brothers, and now he's back, of course, that he doesn't like to heap praise on things that he knows are looking good, and by God it is looking good. And look, just touching on what you mentioned there as well, speaking about ratings, I've seen other channels speaking about potential R ratings and whatnot for this Batman movie, and I have to say, looking at the teaser, it looks like it's absolutely ripe for that R rating. It looks dark, it looks gritty, it looks violent as hell. This looks like a Batman we have never seen before. One who is not scared to beat the living shit or beat someone into a coma. It was almost like the sisters, or the leader of the sisters in Shawshank Redemption, getting the living shit kicked out of him by the captain. I can't recall the name of it. May have been Hadley. And having to eat from a straw for the rest of his life. That is what this Batman is doing to these people, the Penguin's goons in Gotham in this movie. And I feel like for that to carry weight and for that to be something that carries throughout the whole movie, it requires an R rating. And look, we've seen Warner Brothers over the last, 3-4 years now, toying with it with Joker. And what was the other one? Was it Birds of Prey, which was supposed to be potentially at an R rating? I don't know if that ever did get it. I never watched the movie. But it feels like this is right, guys. It feels like this is the correct movie to get an R rating. It feels like this trilogy is just begging to be dark and violent throughout the whole thing. And if we're getting a Joker, perhaps a William Dafoe Joker or something like that in one of these movies, then, man, who would like to see a really darker, even more darker, psychotic telling of that character than what we got from a Ledger or a Nicholson in future movies? And to get it, I think the ratings, it has to be R rating. But look, man, I'm glad to see Snyder's out speaking about it. He's happy again. Lord knows what happened to that guy. It was a tragedy. Looking forward to his Snyder cut. Glad to see Barry Keoghan is coming into the Batman as well. And I'm going to move on, guys. I got much more to add to it. I have to have a drink as well. I've been speaking so long now. Lord knows. Throat's about to close up. Next topic's all about Disney, guys. Penultimate topic here. This is a long one. Mulan will cost £19.99 in the UK. I've says there the price has been revealed. I have just revealed it to watch on Disney Plus. Now, why am I touching upon this? Well, because I actually headlined a show, I believe, about a month, maybe a month and a half back, when it was released, the pricing for Mulan. And there was a lot of gnashing of teeth, a lot of people on social media saying, this is a disgrace. I'm having to part with $20, £20 for a movie. I'm not doing it. I already subscribed to Disney Plus. What are they doing? Disney are con artists. Well, I think this is very reasonable. I says it at the time, and I say it again, very reasonable. This is a movie which was intended to come out in theatres until the COVID thing happened and it blew that planet to smithereens. Now, it is going straight to streaming and for a rental, obviously, initially anyway, first year or so. And to earn back the money that they have put out for this movie, they have to price it at a competitive level where people are not put off, but a level where each individual purchase is going to make them some spondulics. Now, I'm not naive. I know people are going to pirate the hell out of this movie. As soon as it hits, someone will buy it, rip it, and it will be getting pirated a minute later. But I feel like you have to sort of reward companies like Disney for things like this. I've been speaking about theatre-going experiences, how I'm absolutely championing for Christopher Nolan's movie to be seen in theatres. But at the same time, I think you need to have a balanced approach to consuming movies moving forward after this pandemic. And the best way to do that is to find the natural place for individual movies. This movie was absolutely going to hit the ball out of the park in the theatres. All of the Disney remakes have been hitting the ball out of the park in theatres. Even Tim Burton's Dumbo movie hit the ball out of the park in the theatres. But with it going to streaming, you have to reward it, man. You have to reward the bravery of them making this sort of decision, following on in the footsteps of Universal with obviously Trolls World Tour. And if it doesn't pay off, then they're not going to release more movies like this on streaming services for rental or just in general on the streaming. So you have to reward that bravery. I will absolutely buy the movie. It's £20. It's nothing, man. Absolutely nothing. I know some people are struggling at the moment. I shouldn't say that, but for me, it's nothing. You get the movie forever. And, well, as long as you're subscribed to Disney Plus. And when you look at it compared to some of the other streaming services, or not streaming services, other releases which went to VOD at the beginning of the pandemic, the likes of The Hunt, The Invisible Man, they cost £16 per purchase or per rental for a 48-hour rental period. £16, 48 hours, £20 forever. I mean, it doesn't take a brain scientist or anyone with great I can't even say it, mathematical skills, I'll not go there, to work out what the better deal is. This is a good deal, man. Come on, it looks like a great movie. They've done something different. They can't win Disney when they do hashed overs. And what? Hashed overs doesn't even make sense. I'll start that again, guys. When they do shot for shot remakes of the classic animated movies, they get panned. Look what happened with Lion King. It's hollow, it's soulless, it's a crap remake. Just have the original movie. When they do something different like this, they take characters out, they change elements of it, they make a more original remake of a classic movie, they get panned as well. So look, they can't win. They are going to win with me. I am going to buy the movie. I will be watching it. I reacted to one of the first trailers, really excited for it. And on that note, guys, I'm going to move on to the final topic on tonight's show. It's been a long one. It has been a long one, and I'm ending on a ridiculous note here. An absolutely ridiculous note here. A note which is fantastical, in a sense. He's taking the piss, really, Hugh Jackman. He says that he would be open to a face-off reboot with Ryan Reynolds. Now, of course, if you're not aware, if you've been living under a stone for the last 5 years or something like that, you will perhaps have missed the ongoing joking sort of beef that these two guys have. They try to pretend they hate each other. Ryan Reynolds wants, obviously, Wolverine to come into a Deadpool movie. Nearly blanked out there. And there's been a sort of kidology beef going on social media and various different things. He's popping up in the X-Men reunions on YouTube and stuff like that. And now there's been sort of fans gushing at the sort of prospect of a reboot of Face Off with these two guys playing the various different roles. Obviously the two roles, the Nick Cage and John Travolta roles. And he was asked about it, I believe, at a press junket or somewhere, and he replied, and I'll try and get the quote. It's absolutely buried in a sea of articles here. He essentially says, man, that he'd be open to it if he could do it in a way where he didn't have to shoot on the same set as him. Can we do it individually, the scenes? Then I'd be up for it. Look, man, now joking aside, between these two guys, clearly he's taking the piss. I don't see Hugh Jackman ever being involved in a face-off reboot. He's above that. He's a Tony Award-winning sort of stage actor. He's a guy who's done it all. He can do everything. He can sing, he can dance, he can act. But I would love to see this, man. We spoke about The Thing yesterday. I've spoke about Hollywood having no originality, continually rebooting movies, and wanting them to do something unique. This is the one time I want them to reboot a movie. I want them to reboot Face Off with these two guys in the roles. Ryan Reynolds is absolutely perfect for this movie. And Hugh Jackman, we've seen it off screen. We've probably seen it on screen as well, that he can have a bit of humour about him too. He has that charisma. He has that sort of presence. And these two guys bouncing off of each other. I want this to happen just for the press junkets. For these two guys to have to sit beside each other and speak for 10-15 minutes about the movie and promote it. It'd be absolutely hilarious, man. The social media stuff would be off the charts. Absolutely want to see this happen, man. I didn't even know it was a thing. But the fact that Hugh's even jokingly sort of saying, yeah, I'd be up for it if we could do it individually. Get it done, man. Offer them as much money as is humanly possible. I know Ryan's the second most well-paid actor in Hollywood, so it would take a lot to sway him. But look, man, make that happen. I need to see it. But look, man, I digress. Saying it again, I love to see I digress, incidentally. I'm done, man. I'm done with this show. I don't know how long it's been going on. It's been going on a while. I do know that. But I am done speaking, guys. I'm going to round up the show. And incidentally, I've been missing comments left, right and centre. And I do apologise about that. He's a great actor, but the whole... yeah, I've read that. Dementia kicking in here, clearly. Yeah, there's a lot of good comments in there, and I do thank you for commenting. Howard and the gang. I sadly missed them all, and I think it'd be a bit strange going back now, but I do agree. Rental definitely better. Coming with for $29.99. Yeah, it's better. It's better than rental when you get the movie forever, in a sense. But look, man, I'm done speaking, guys. Anyway, thanks for commenting on the stream and whatnot, and being here with me while I nearly have an absolute nightmare and go off cliff edges at various different points in the show. It's always great doing it live. But what is your thoughts anyway? People who are perhaps watching after the live show, what is your thoughts on Tenet? Do you think it should be right for people to go to theatres and consume this movie during a pandemic? Do you agree with Scott Derrickson that the States in particular, they should hold off and absolutely kill Christopher Nolan's chances of having yet another box office success? Or do you agree with me that it should just happen? The theatre chain should act responsibly, introduce good social distancing measures, and everything will be hunky-dory. What is your thoughts about all the other topics I spoke about? I'm not going to go through them all. There's an array of topics in there. I think there was 6. You can comment below and share your thoughts down below on any of the topics that I touched upon. Good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. And you can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see my ugly mush back here again tomorrow with Stephen for another movie news. Lord knows Stephen will have to scrape the barrel to come up with news topics tomorrow unless something gargantuan happens. That's not my problem, guys. I do it when I'm on my own. I don't do it when it's a joint, so good luck, Stephen. And you'll also see us back on Friday for a movie review. Lord knows what we will be reviewing, guys. But look, I digress, man. Bye-bye. Whoop!